I've been asked multiple times about branched-chain amino acid supplementation. So I don't waste your time, I'll actually start this video with giving you the practical takeaways. But if you stick around, I'll try and teach you the mechanisms and the potential mechanisms that branched-chain amino acids could potentially affect our brain. Branched-chain amino acids are 3 amino acids. Branched-chain amino acids are comprised of 3 of the 9 different essential amino acids. Essential meaning we must get them from our diet because we are unable to create them internally. With that being said, all 9 essential amino acids are used in the process of protein synthesis and muscle growth. So just knowing that, the supplementation of 3 of the 9 essential amino acids probably isn't going to increase muscle growth. Studies indicate that branched-chain amino acids may decrease protein breakdown, but they also decrease protein synthesis. And the growth of muscle occurs when protein synthesis exceeds protein breakdown. So if they decrease both breakdown and synthesis, it will not result in a net increase in muscle. Some studies indicate that branched-chain amino acids could decrease protein breakdown during exercise. Therefore, they have the potential to reduce post-exercise soreness. However, when given on top of a diet that's already sufficient in protein, even a diet as low as 1.2 grams per kilogram per day, they have very negligible effects on protein breakdown and muscle soreness. So the first takeaway is that branched-chain amino acids certainly cannot be a replacement for a high-protein meal. And the only time I can see them having efficacy is if you have a diet that is deficient in the branched-chain amino acids, such as a vegetarian diet that may be missing specific branched-chain amino acids. However, even in this scenario, it may actually be smarter to take an essential amino acid supplement because it contains all 9 of the essential amino acids the body requires. With that being said, let's talk a little bit about why branched-chain amino acids aren't going to potently increase muscle mass, but why they may have been demonstrated to decrease protein breakdown. As I mentioned, branched-chain amino acids contain leucine, isoleucine, and valine. When the levels of the amino acid leucine rise in our bloodstream, it essentially turns on a little molecule inside of our cell called mTOR. And what mTOR does is it inhibits the breakdown of protein and instigates the process of protein synthesis. And all these little numbers are transcription factors, meaning that they are proteins that will actually bind to our DNA and upregulate the production of specific proteins and enzymes responsible for protein synthesis. With that being said, in order to synthesize these proteins, we need all of the amino acids I mentioned. So these branched-chain amino acids do stimulate mTOR to carry out its function of inhibiting protein breakdown. However, without all of the amino acids present, mTOR cannot carry out the function of increasing protein synthesis. Which is why in studies, branched-chain amino acids appear to inhibit protein breakdown, but do not increase protein synthesis. With that being said, I do want to talk about why branched-chain amino acids could actually have a negative impact on our brain. Amino acids are used inside of our brain to create neurotransmitters such as dopamine and serotonin. To create enough dopamine, we need an adequate supply of tyrosine, an amino acid, and to make enough serotonin, we would want an adequate supply of tryptophan, another amino acid. And there's a myriad of other very important neurotransmitters that also require amino acids. With that being said, in order for amino acids to get into our brain, they need to pass through what's called the blood-brain barrier, which is simply just a barrier around our brain that only allows certain molecules in. And these molecules pass through transporters. And what's important to know is that many of the amino acids use the same transporter. And this is referred to as competition. And when we have a very high level of branched-chain amino acids in our bloodstream, they can compete with those other amino acids for entrance into the brain and reduce the amount of the very important neurotransmitters that actually can get into the brain, which is why an excess of branched-chain amino acids is associated with an imbalance of key neurotransmitters. Additionally, an excess of branched-chain amino acids could increase the deposition of harmful proteins that are associated with things like Alzheimer's disease. Therefore, unbeknownst to many, the supplementation of branched-chain amino acids could potentially have mood and emotional altering effects, which once again could be mitigated by supplying an equal ratio of all of the amino acids, in which you would be able to derive from a diet sufficient in protein. Therefore, for me, the cost of branched-chain amino acid supplementations is not worth the reward and the potential risk. However, absolutely consult with your doctor before making any decisions, because some people may actually have a deficiency in one or more of the branched-chain amino acids, and taking branched-chain amino acid supplements could potentially make their symptoms better. But if you want to learn how to take control of your health and energy and learn more about your physiology, send me a DM to sign up for coaching.